What is happening, you guys? Welcome back to a Tuesday tune-up. You're here at the Let's Go Win podcast. We're going to be talking to a gentleman today that does a lot of cool stuff, but definitely is going to help us in sales, help us with our branding. And in a world where dreams are crushed, souls are forgotten, and rest never sleeps, Josh Zepess is on a mission to ensure talented solopreneurs turn every business's first impression into a second impression by raising their return on conversation so they can profit more without grinding more. When he's not digging for business gold, he flies airplane, brews beer, runs long distance obstacle courses, and sets the bar low as a semi-professional comedian, not the funny kind. So I'm not sure what that. You're a pretty funny guy. We were talking off air, brother. But how you doing, Josh?
Doing fantastic. Great to be here.
It's good to be with you. And so obviously, when we're talking about businesses and off air, you said, one thing salespeople know how to do is they know how to close, but they don't know how to open. I guess I'll open with that because that's a fascinating thought because you're right. I see it all the time. A lot of times, or most of the time, that sale is made in the beginning, not at the end. So
That's
tell me
right.
what you do, man. What's kind of your passion and what are you helping people with?
Yeah, high level, honestly, it's bringing humanity back to business. That's what gets me out of bed every single morning. So everything I do has to fall in that category. Because I went to business school. I climbed the corporate ladder. I did all that kind of stuff, and I was always told, Josh, business and emotions don't mix.
Hmm.
I was like, well, what are you talking about? Like, I'm one person. Uh, I got to keep my professional life and my personal life separate. So who am I lying to? Am I lying to my family? Am I lying to my clients? So everything drives me. I want to bring our personal life and our business life together. I don't think there should be any separation. Uh, and so what I like to do, I like to work with people on how do you make those business first impressions. So you talked about opening. Opening is all about your business first impression. How do you make such a compelling and amazing and powerful first impression that you get to the second impression and the third and the fourth, and you actually get to the point where you can close the sale? Because there's a lot of, all the training out there is all about closing. It's all about overcoming objections and saying the right closing line and all that kind of stuff, but never about how do you introduce yourself in a networking group? How do you give a powerful presentation? What is the message you're sending to people? What is the brand that you're emanating from you? That is it attracting them or is it repelling them? I see too many people are wearing, I call it repellent. For bugs here in Florida, absolutely. Wear all the bug repellent you want, but stop wearing the sales repellent. Stop with all the things we do that push people away. So learn how to open, and that's going to make closing basically automatic.
What are some of the big repellents that you see, Josh, when you kind of get the like, oh man, I got to go take a shower? Because we've all felt that way. I say it openly when I meet somebody and I'm like, oh man, I literally got to go hop in the shower. That was just not a good interaction. What are some of the big ones that you see where you're just like, come on?
Well, all right. Besides hygiene, which I think is kind of what you're alluding to there a little bit, but here's one that's fun. This will be a fun one. I call it yams disease. Have you heard of yams disease before? Is that
I'm not
it's
familiar.
okay? It's something. It goes like this. This is how you recognize it. And by the way, it is more contagious than COVID. It's going around all the networking circles. It sounds something like this. I am Josh. I am a branding expert. I am in Orlando, Florida. I am looking for this kind of prospect. I am. It's all professional, it's ego based, and it says nothing about why the heck you care and why I should care about what you're doing. Um, so that's one of the biggest mistakes. In fact, I would challenge people. Can you introduce yourself without saying the words I am? Can you make it something bigger than just you? Can you share your mission? People want to know why you care before they'll ever care what you know. So when we make this list of things, your name and your profession and your title and all this kind of stuff, what's funny is those are the exact things nobody really cares about on a first impression. No one cares what your name is. They don't care where you went to school. They don't care, the name of your company, your borrowed title, your personality, your good looks. Thank goodness for me. Like they don't care about that stuff. They want to know, why the heck are you talking to me, and why do you care so much about this? Why you and not the 50,000 other folks in your profession that just contacted me on LinkedIn? I get 15 emails a day on LinkedIn messages from what do you call those? Virtual assistants. I don't know if you get, they're all like attacking me. I'm a solopreneur, right? So they're all like, hey, do you need an assistant? And they all say the same thing. And it's just a shame, right? Because some of those virtual assistants they probably have a gift. They probably do something really powerful, but the way they introduce themselves, I immediately get turned off. I want nothing to do with them because they're just out there like a commodity. They're nothing different about them.
Yeah, it's interesting. As you were saying it, I was even because I actually coach on not talking about your I am X in a business world because we're so much
Yeah.
deeper than that. We have so many layers. But constantly I say, I'm from Montana. I do. And so as you were saying it, I was in my head going, how would I introduce myself without the I am? How would that look, brother? Do you kind of have an example of something you commonly use when you're out there?
Yeah, a great way to do it is to ask a question. Because look, when someone says, what do you do? The last thing they want to know at that point is truly what you do. What they want to know, what they're saying basically is, JM, do you want to know what I'm going through? Do you understand what wakes me up 3 o'clock in the morning in a cold sweat? Do you know where I'm struggling? Before you tell me how great you are, JM, and all the stuff that you do and you're a miracle worker, that's wonderful. Can you let me know that you even thought about me as a person?
Mm.
Do you understand me? So you can lead off with a question. I might lead off with, how so many talented professionals uh, are struggling. They can't even get the time of day from their ideal prospect because they lack the skill, they lack the message, or they just lack the confidence to really connect with another person. You know what I mean? And just get people thinking about that. Like, yeah, Josh, yeah, that's me. Oh my goodness. Yeah, you got it. I'm listening. And then maybe go in and share about your mission. So that's why, JM, that's why I'm on a mission to help every one of these folks, these good people, raise the level of their conversation so they can take every first impression and get to that second impression. Notice how I'm talking in terms of high level mission. I'm raising the conversation already because it's not about me, it's about you. So I'm not saying you can't absolutely use the words I am. I'm just using it as an example where try to minimize that, try to make it less about you and more about your mission, which, by the way, your purpose, your mission, your vision is all about someone else. So if you're going to brag, don't brag about you. I don't care where you went to school. Sorry. Not on a first impression. Maybe further down the line, we can get into those details. On a first impression, that if you went to Harvard or if you went to UCF over here, I don't care. Not right now. I want to know that you have a heart and you're doing this for the right reasons, not just for money. You're not just seeing me as a prospect, you're seeing me as a person. So I don't know if that answers your question.
No, it certainly does. And you know what's amazing about what you said earlier in the episode with corporate America and it being separate and don't bring your emotions. But especially when it comes to sales, look, emotions create motion. That's a
Right.
real thing. That's not
Yeah.
just a sales tack that somebody came up with. If I want to move mountains or move people forward in a movement, it's going to be through an emotion. It's not going to be through facts and figures. So it is such a me not being a corporate guy, it's an odd idea for me to think, wait a minute, that's how I make sales is I actually
Yeah.
connect with another human being. So why is that being trained that way? That's kind of a such a silly thing.
Yeah, that's a good question. I think what happens is I think it's a lot of fear based. We as salespeople, as professionals, we tend to hide behind our products because it's safer there, right? So it's easier for us to like, hey, look at my water. Isn't this the best water in the world? Isn't it great? It's like, it came off the mountains of the Andes, tears of God in a bottle. Don't you want some? Isn't it good water? And we just hide. We're so afraid to be out in front. We hide behind our product. Uh, but what I challenge people to do is I say, you got to stand out. You got to lead. You got to be in front of your product. Because here's the truth that no one likes to hear. You, JM, I'm sure, myself, everybody, except for the 50 people out of the 8 billion in this world that are working on something unique, you're selling a commodity. Sorry, there's someone else selling the exact same thing you're doing, or something that's duplicatable. The only unique thing in your business is you. That's it, right? It's just you. So if you're not bringing that to the front of your message, if you're not leading with that, if you're leading with product, that's a great way to get lost in the sea of sameness. Great way just to make it so product focused that you're like everyone else. So I think, in school there's a lot of product focus, being innovative in products. That's great. That's absolutely wonderful. But when you introduce yourself, first of all, your product is duplicatable, but you as a person are not. You can try and duplicate me, right? JM, you could take my brand and you can actually try and use it and say, well, Josh is saying this, and that sounds really good, so I'm going to say the same thing. But here's the difference. I'm telling the truth. Because when I say brand, I imply authenticity. If it's not authentic, it's not a brand. It's just a marketing gimmick or a ploy. So when I say it is true, but if you were to borrow it, JM, and say, use my magic words, you would actually fail. It would not work because it's not real, it's not authentic. So finding what that is, leading with you, is the key to true differentiation.
No, you're simplifying it. Again, I have argued with marketing firms for years because I'll take the name of my company. Let's Go Win.
Yeah.
They were all adamant. No, it's jmryerson.com. And I was like, nope, not going to do it because the message is bigger than me. It's more profound than me. However, to your point, Josh, if I made it jmryerson.com and I put myself out there first, the growth trajectory would have been faster. And my wife, if she's listening right now, sorry, Lise, you were right. So there is a way to do both, but when you're talking personal brand, that's what you're saying. Just be you, man. Like, put it out there. Just be the best JM you can be, and that's what's going to attract people. Is that the basic overall message, Josh? That, I mean, I'm boiling it down to the simplistic, but is that what I should hear if I'm listening? Like, all right, just be you.
Yes, absolutely. And this is the hardest part for most people. This is where most of us fail. We don't know why we exist. We don't have the clarity on what you're saying. We're not clear ourselves. I ask people, I say, what do you know why you get out of bed every morning? And we can get into purpose, but I know that's like kind of a cliche word, and then it's been a little overused. But there's got to be a bigger reason why you're in this business than just the business, than just to make money. There has to be something there, because that's what attracts people. People want to follow people going places, right? They love visionaries. They want to hear, where are you taking this? If I decide to support you, JM, in your business, if I decide to become a client, where are we going together? Paint that picture for me. What is this? What is the bigger mission here? Not just sell me a product and that's it, and make it transactional. But yes, we've got to get that clarity. And that's the toughest thing for people, because you can't read the label when you're inside the jar. So you almost need that third party perspective, someone to ask you the right questions, start digging. That's why I call myself the identity archaeologist, because I dig. You got to dig with questions, and you got to have that very safe space with a person and really find that treasure. When you find that treasure and you bring it to the surface and you knock off all the bullshit conditioning and all the crap you're told growing up, oh honey, there's no money in that, all that stuff. When you get rid of that, you can take that treasure and you can polish it and shine it, and then let it just emanate, let it shine for thousands of miles and attract all those folks you're looking for. That's really, when you get to that point, that's a brand. That's what we're really talking about.
Yeah, and here's what I love what you just said. I hope everybody caught that. It's very difficult to explain, hey, this is exactly who I am, what I represent. Even though it's you ask these questions from people, you pull it out of them, you figure out their why or their purpose, because sometimes articulating what that is for us entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, just people in general, it's not always easy, Josh, to say, this is where I'm going. And because to get it down and really make it simplistic, it requires a coach. I really do believe that.
Yeah.
And many people don't take the time to hire someone. So I love what you just said, because you said, it's really hard to read a label inside the jar.
Yes.
That's
Or see the
brilliant.
entire masterpiece when you're in the frame, right? I got a lot of analogies for that. Um, and here's the ultimate problem. Without clarity, there cannot be any confidence, because clarity is like, I know, right? Clarity is I see it, I know it. Confidence is like, I know that I know, like, I got this. Now you got confidence. You know why you get out of bed every morning. But then even if you get to confidence, very few people get to the next level. I call this the 3 C's: clarity, confidence. The last level is conviction.
Hmm.
And conviction, where it's no longer what you do, it's what you are. When it goes from your head to your heart, that's conviction. When you walk into a room and someone's like, man, that dude over there, or that lady, I don't know what she does, but she knows what she does. I need to find out. I need to go talk to her. Like, that's the ultimate. Now all these fancy words that you just hired a copywriter to make for you on your website, all that shit doesn't matter anymore. Now it's an attraction process. Now people just feel your energy, not just listen to your words. And it's a whole different ballgame. But you got to go through the process. Clarity starts is the beginning, then confidence builds, and then you can hit that level of conviction where everything is just true and real, and you're a magnet.
So imagine we pulled this out. How do we go represent that on social media platforms? Because again, it's an amazing tool, but how much of it is fluff? How much is real? How do you get your authentic, vulnerable, genuine self to come through on social media? And is it possible, Josh? I mean, eh, I've heard it is. I try to do it, but how can someone listening do it themselves?
So what I like to do is, one of the ways to start getting some clarity, start getting an idea of purpose. I'll throw out a challenge. I want everyone listening to declare an enemy. Not a person, by the way. I don't believe in personal enemies. I'm not saying hate a person or anything like that. I'm talking about a thing, something that does not belong in this world, in your opinion, that you're willing to die fighting against, you're willing to die for, you're willing to push back, like something that will have other people like coming to your side to help you, right? Like a true evil in based on what you do. So for me, for example, it's ego. My enemy's ego. I want to get rid of ego everywhere. And with ego, no more professionalism, no more of that kind of stuff. I want to turn this world into a world of personal free trade. We're all just willing to come to the forefront, create surplus in what we do, share with others, then scarcity goes away, and then there's no homelessness, hunger, hate, racism, all that stuff goes bye-bye. But declare an enemy. What are you willing to stand against? What are you willing to fight for? You can declare something you want to fight for or fight against. Up to you. But take a stand. Take a stand. Once you're no longer afraid to take a stand, that's the beginning where everything opens up. Now, every conversation you have, including sales conversations, is not about your product, right? It's not about, oh, look at my water, and I got 3 different types of water, and this is the best, and this is the middle. Now, if you're sitting down as a human being and you're saying, hey, JM, tell me, what do you got going on? Like, what's really going on in your life? And you can start sharing at a different level about this mission, about what you're standing for. And the conversation just keeps rising. And when you stay away from talking about product, it's easy to bring it right back on a follow-up conversation or bring it back to a solution once that person understands your heart. Because once you get to the heart, you have access to the mind, but it doesn't work the other way. You can't go to someone's mind with facts and figures and products and get to their heart. It's a one-way superhighway from the heart to the head. So that's just one thing you can do. Declare an enemy.
No, I
Drop your,
think it's
yeah,
brilliant. Sorry to cut you off, brother.
yeah.
I looked at the time. I'm like, my gosh, we've already flown to 20 minutes.
We didn't even scratch the surface. That's fine. This is good.
I guess maybe I'll let us kind of start to wrap up with, where are you going, Josh? Declare, so people know, man, I want to be a part of what Josh is doing. And how can our listeners connect with you online?
Absolutely. So I call what I'm doing, and this might be the title of my next book. It might just be kind of a subtopic, but I call it the lighthouse effect. This is where I'm going. I'm turning everyone into lighthouses because I love lighthouses, but I love them for what they don't do. They don't chase people or ships in distress. They don't go out in the middle of the sea. They don't take ships out for a steak dinner. Lighthouses stand, right? They stand for something good and they shine their light. So that's what I want to see. I want to see a world full of people just shining their light, not being shy, because shy in business is broke. That's not a good place. And I want everyone out there to shine their light so I can see it. Because if I need your light, if I need your gift, if I need what you do best, I need to be able to find you. So I need you to stand and shine, right? So that's where this is going, where we're not going to have to worry about professionalism anymore. You're going to be a person with value instead of a business only. Uh, but that's it. I'll keep that. That's the short one. To find me, easiest on Facebook and LinkedIn, The Identity Archaeologist, or Josh Zepess, or joshzepess.com is the best way.
Awesome. Well, brother, I love what you're talking about. I mean, look, we do live in a world of sameness, and to stand out is you.
Yeah.
And literally, it's on my wall right over my shoulder. Show up as you. So your
Yeah.
message definitely hits home and resonates with me, brother. And I hope you continue to push and drive. And guys, go check out Josh. We'll link everything in the show notes. And brother, I just appreciate you being here.
Likewise, pleasure to be able to share. That's my favorite thing.
I love that. Well, guys, and I just, I want you to be your vulnerable, genuine self. And that's what Josh is helping people do. So if you're not clear on it, reach out to him. And I also just take a chance to say happy holidays to all of you guys. I hope you're having an amazing time with your friends and your family. Be safe and share this out with those that you love, those that you care for, because we do want people to live their best lives. And that's what Josh is helping people do. So until next time, I appreciate you all. We will talk to you very soon. Thank you so much for listening. If this content is delivering value to you, please make sure to subscribe, rate, and review us. That helps us build this community, and that is what we are all about. Building this community as big as we can, helping as many people as we can, and deliver as much value as possible. Be sure to head over to letsgowinpodcast.com for information on my coaching courses, and make sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn at Let's Go Win 365. Let's go win and transcend in life.
This is the Let's Go Win podcast with your host, J.M. Ryerson.